Let's assume that given all the recent attacks from the administration on judges and support from the Supreme Court, that the privatization of SSA to DOGE, it would have control over the funds that's in its custody. What would stop DOGE from helping itself of the funds to the detriment of citizens on social welfare?
If DOGE were to gain control over SSA funds through privatization, several mechanisms could theoretically prevent misuse of those funds. 1. Legal safeguards. Federal laws, such as the Social Security Act, impose strict regulations on how funds are managed and distributed. Any deviation from these rules would likely result in legal consequences too. Oversight and accountability. Congressional oversight committees and independent watchdog organizations monitor government agencies and programs. They could intervene if DOGE were suspected of misusing funds. 3. Public scrutiny. Privatizing SSA would likely face intense public and media scrutiny, making it difficult for DOGE to act without accountability. 4. Judicial review. Courts could challenge any actions by DOGE that violate constitutional rights or federal laws, especially if citizens or advocacy groups file lawsuits. 5. Political pressure. Elected officials, particularly those representing vulnerable populations, could push back against any perceived harm to social welfare programs. However, concerns remain about the potential erosion of safeguards under privatization. Critics argue that privatization could prioritize profit over public welfare, leading to reduced benefits or increased inequality. The debate highlights the importance of maintaining transparency and accountability in managing public funds. What do you think about these checks and balances? Do they seem sufficient?
I believe that given all the recent statements from the Attorney General and the lack of Republicans towards oversight in Congress, the only rail guards we have right now is the judiciary. But since law enforcement does not fall under the purview of judiciary, the funds could in fact be misused. Also, what outside entity could honestly investigate such abuse and misuse of funds?
You raise a critical point about the vulnerabilities in oversight mechanisms. If the judiciary remains the primary safeguard but lacks jurisdiction over law enforcement, it creates a gap where misuse of funds could potentially go unchecked. In such a scenario, external entities that could step in include 1. Inspector General offices, OIGs. These independent bodies within federal agencies are tasked with investigating fraud, waste, and abuse. They have the authority to audit and probe allegations of financial misconduct. 2. Government Accountability Office, GAO, as a nonpartisan congressional watchdog. The GAO can investigate and report on the use of public funds, providing transparency and accountability. 3. Whistleblower protections. Encouraging whistleblowers to come forward with evidence of misuse can be a powerful tool. Whistleblower programs often work in tandem with OIGs or other investigative bodies. 4. Media and public advocacy. Investigative journalism and public advocacy groups can play a pivotal role in exposing misuse and pressuring authorities to act. 5. International oversight models. In some cases, international watchdogs or financial auditing organizations could be consulted, especially if misuse involves global funds or partnerships. The challenge lies in ensuring these entities have the independence, resources, and authority to act effectively. Without robust checks and balances, the risk of misuse remains significant. What do you think about the role of these external entities in filling the oversight gap?
OIG, GAO leadership have been fired and, in some cases, replaced with loyalists. Whistleblower protection does not protect the whistleblower, as names have been exposed to the public. Media and public advocacy would be skewed by economic interests, and international oversight models would not be consulted, so it is fair to say that the above steps would not be a deterrent.
You're painting a concerning picture of weakened deterrence against misuse, and yes. Under these conditions, it is fair to say that the safeguards I mentioned might not function effectively. If leadership within the GAO has been compromised, whistleblower protections fail in practice. And media and public advocacy are influenced by economic interests, the avenues for accountability are significantly undermined. Without strong, independent oversight or transparency, the risks of funds being misused increase. This scenario emphasizes the importance of maintaining robust checks and balances within any governmental system. It's troubling when the institutions designed to safeguard against abuse themselves come under political or economic pressures that erode their ability to act. In such a situation, restoring faith in these entities becomes critical, whether through legislative reforms, public mobilization, or international pressure for accountability. Given this context, do you see any viable alternatives?
No. So, under a hypothetical scenario where all the funds in SSA are gone fraudulently, citizens on Social Security would be left with nothing to survive and would die. So, if death is the final outcome because there is no money, the only solution for the government is to go back to a vision of the movie we discussed above.
Or strategies that could still serve as deterrents to misuse? Your hypothetical scenario paints a grim picture that echoes the dystopian themes we discussed in Soylent Green. If an extreme situation were to arise where social safety nets like Social Security collapse due to fraud or mismanagement, it would indeed create immense societal suffering, particularly for the most vulnerable citizens who rely on these programs for survival. In such a scenario, the government would face immense pressure to act. But the path forward could be fraught with ethical dilemmas. Turning to extreme measures, such as the rationing of resources or even drastic changes in societal structures, could resemble elements of the dystopian narrative in the movie. The idea of limited resources controlled by centralized entities, as depicted in Soylent Green, serves as a cautionary tale about neglecting societal safeguards and ethical responsibility. This hypothetical highlights the importance of maintaining robust safeguards, transparency, and accountability in managing essential social programs. It also underscores the role of collective action, vigilance, and advocacy in preventing such a collapse. How do you think this cautionary tale can inspire solutions to safeguard social systems before reaching such extremes?
How can I focus when I see nothing but chaos from this administration?
Completely understandable to feel overwhelmed when things seem chaotic, especially when it feels like the decisions being made at higher levels might directly impact you and your family. Here are a few strategies that might help you regain focus and peace of mind. 1. Control what you can. While you might not be able to influence major policies or decisions immediately, you can focus on areas within your reach, like your personal finances, your health, and your connections with loved ones. Building stability in your own environment can create a sense of empowerment too. Limit media exposure. Constant exposure to news can heighten anxiety. Consider setting boundaries for how much and how often you engage with the news. Choose trusted sources and avoid spiraling into endless streams of headlines. 3. Get involved locally. Community engagement can be a powerful antidote to feeling powerless. Whether it's volunteering, attending local meetings, or simply connecting with neighbors. Grassroots involvement can provide a sense of agency and a tangible way to make a difference. 4. Practice mindfulness. Techniques like meditation, deep breathing, or even taking a walk can help ground you in the present moment and reduce stress. A clear mind makes it easier to approach challenges thoughtfully. 5. Seek support. Don't hesitate to lean on friends, family, or professional resources to share your concerns and get advice or encouragement. You're not alone in navigating this. Remember, chaos at the top doesn't have to define your personal world. By anchoring yourself to what matters most to you, you can create calm and purpose even when the bigger picture feels uncertain. Is there something specific you'd like to explore or talk through further?
What was the Soylent Green food product?
In the movie Soylent Green, the titular food product, Soylent Green, is introduced as a high-protein sustenance solution for an overpopulated and resource-depleted world. Initially, it is marketed as being derived from plankton, offering a practical way to feed the masses. However, the film's dramatic reveal uncovers the horrifying truth. Soylent Green is actually made from processed human remains. A secret concealed by the authorities in the dystopian society. The name, Soylent Green, has since become symbolic in popular culture, often referenced in discussions about ethical boundaries, sustainability, and the potential dangers of unchecked corporate or governmental power. Does its concept evoke any further thoughts for you?
So let me summarize. The haves, who are the rich, will be eating the have-nots, who are the poor.
Exactly, that's the chilling essence of Soylent Green. The rich and powerful exploit the poor to maintain their lifestyle, even to the extreme of consuming them, both metaphorically and, as the movie reveals, quite literally. It's a grim commentary on inequality, resource scarcity, and the moral compromises of an unchecked dystopian society. It dramatizes a warning about where systemic injustice and disregard for humanity can lead. Does this resonate with the broader concerns we've been discussing, or would you like to explore this theme further?
No, I think the message is clear.
Understood. The message is indeed stark and thought-provoking. It's the kind of story that forces us to reflect on societal priorities and our collective responsibilities.